I would like to be able to do an event or have a meeting, I guess, like this on a regular basis, because that's what I do with my show, but I want people to have a place where they can expect to be. And the Hangouts, the Google Plus events page was working. It does work, but it seems to be that I have to do like an event for each and every single one, and it kind of confused people when I set up too many in advance. And I just was wondering if Business Hangouts is going to help me do that more simply.
Okay.
Obviously not a grammar Nazi, I'm just a crafter.
I'm not the one who will be helpful on that for you. I'm sure Paulino is going to do a better job there.
I do have a suggestion.
There you go.
Well, what I see, Heather, what I see a lot of people doing is, and I don't know how that would work with Business Hangouts, because you need, as far as I understand, you need a registration for each Hangout with Business Hangouts. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. If you go recurring and you check the box which says one registration for all, then they are registered once for all.
Right. Okay. Good. Like, well, like any Hangout on air, you can. Do you have a website, Heather?
I do. Yes.
Okay. So one suggestion that I see a lot of people doing is create a page called Live. So it would be heathercrafts/live, and every time you're gonna have a Hangout on air, just embed the Hangout on air on that page. So open your Hangout on air 30 minutes before, get the embed code, and update that page. So instead of telling people, go to this event on RSVP, go to this event on the RSVP, you say, every Wednesday at 8 a.m., go to heathercrafts/live, and they'll see the video on that page.
Now, I do already have that, Paulino, and that is a great tool, but how do I also then get interaction and pictures uploaded of their projects and their comments coming in? That's what I'm really trying to get, is the interaction. And the events page has helped with that, but again, I run into the problem of every single week it's a new, and now that I'm in the fall, I start 2 or 3 shows a week, so I'll have 2 or 3 different events.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I may, this is a very interesting question. Typical Business Hangouts versus Google Plus Hangouts question. There are always methods with Google Hangouts and events and YouTube and the copy-paste thing to get around an issue like this one. And Paulino just gave you a method for that. But Business Hangouts is really simplifying things. There's typically, like any event, no need for this one, for instance, to copy-paste the YouTube link there. So you go just with a recurring event, and you check the registration once forever. That's method number 1. Recurring event, register once for all the events, and the link will take them each time to the right event. Method number 2, use what we call a permanent or fixed URL. And if, for instance, if we take the solution that Paulino gave, in that live, if you embed the fixed URL, you don't need to copy-paste at any time. And it's, by the way, not necessarily available only at the times of the events. It's your permanent room is available there. Whoever clicks in can walk in the room, and if someone else is there, they will chat. It's really a permanent virtual room out there for you.
Wow.
Make sense?
It does. I might need some setup help on that to understand how to set something like that up and to make it so that it's user-friendly for other people, because what I'm running into with switching different things, people saying things like, now I've got to sign up for Google+, now I've got to do this, now I've got to do YouTube.
Okay.
So that would be great.
Let me go to the end of the story then, as we are all here. Please go to your account section on the lower left corner of the menu, Business Hangouts menu. Do you see the account section where you have 4 tabs: Profile, Rooms, Subscriptions, and Close Account? Everybody's there?
Yep.
Okay. Then under Rooms tab, you have your rooms. By default, you have just one room called Auditorium 2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you click on the picture for Auditorium 2, you have 5 more tabs. These are very advanced users features, okay? And you have room properties, user login options, publication, duplicate or send projects, analytics. This is your permanent room. When you set up Hangouts, they are all done in this virtual room, and you can add additional rooms, by the way. So if you dedicate one room to one theme, and you don't want, for instance, with the example Heather gave, if you don't want to risk having anyone there, you may have a private room or a conference room or whatever you want. And under publication here, if you click publication, you will see a series of permanent links, and there's one for a permanent link for your Hangout on Air.
That's great.
So you can take this link, and there's also embed codes, as you can see, in order to embed them in a page. You can play with this and having your permanent room. See, so if in my room here, if someone has access to my link here, which no one has, they are encrypted links because I haven't published my room, they will come in right now in this Hangout on Air without having the link to the registration or anything. So it's a direct access to the room.
So Darius, what I'm hearing is, if I give Peter the permanent link for my Hangout room for participants,
right?
Or it could be on air or not. Anytime that I'm doing a Hangout on Air, they will get into the room.
Anytime you're doing a Hangout on Air, or you're not doing a Hangout on Air, they can enter the room.
So it's permanent. So if I'm so it's a very tricky link, because I can give it to you now, and maybe I want it for this interview, but maybe or this office hour, but in a month I'm doing a class and someone can join. So
right.
It's not a link that I would give to many people.
And
maybe in a collaborator, but otherwise, I found it tricky that to give one link for someone to have access to all my Hangouts.
As I said, you can set up different rooms. You are not limited to one room. So if you decide to you are doing lessons, Spanish lessons, and you want all your Spanish students to have access to that room, set up a room called Spanish lessons.
And you cannot revoke the access to that room to a person?
You could delete that room.
You can delete that room, or you can put password.
But in the example you gave me, I set up a course. Spanish 1, and I have these 10 students, and I teach them, and I give them that link so they don't have to sign in every time. Well, it could be recurring. But then the course ends, and I want to start a new course. Then I would have to do a new room, right? I couldn't be using the same room because all those people have access to that room, correct?
Yes, there are many other ways to do that. I mean, either you want a permanent access, free permanent access, no hassles. That was the question from Heather. Then you give this. Okay. Or you want to restrict it, and then you have other solutions. Then for restriction, you can still use the room and give a password and change the password from time to time. Under user login options, you can set a password to this room.
Right.
And communicate the password to those people. But again, if you want a restricted, this is not the method, then set up events and invite those who are supposed to be invited there. That would be a better solution.
Oh, okay. So, but I could also give the permanent link to a group of people, but have it password protected, and then change the password whenever I don't want the group of people to have access to it.
Yes, sure. Okay. That's another solution. Yeah.
The link, the third link, permanent link to your Hangouts room for viewers, is that's obviously only if you do a Hangout on Air or a Hang.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that means the Hangout room for viewers are for people that I don't necessarily want to be in my film strip, right?
Correct.
Haha. I'm very excited. Thank you, Darius. I'm very excited.
You are very welcome.
A little bit of an anomaly that I've run into on the playing a YouTube. Now, do we need to announce to our audience as a presenter that we want to show a YouTube? They click on the little red button, and unless they do, they don't see what we're projecting. Or am I kind of messing that up somehow? In other words, if you wanted to like share a screen, that's one option we have, very powerful. But we can also present a YouTube, and then what I noticed that unless that person knows to click on the YouTube little thumb drive, or the thumbnail over there, that they're not seeing it. But then once they do, you can cease and desist, and they could continue to watch that until they decide to come back to the main meeting area. Or am I confusing that?
I think I know what you're talking about, and I don't know a solution to that.
I can start the answer at least. The YouTube, it's another application. So only people inside the Hangout will see the video. If you're on a Hangout on Air, people will not see that video you're sharing. It's only the people inside. I would strongly recommend not to do a screen share of a YouTube video. Anything that is copyrighted will Google Plus will strike you, and you can lose your ability to do a Hangout on Air. Even I know people that happen to them, even if it was a video that is yours. Sometimes videos with music and stuff like that. Even if it's yours, they are very strict about that. Pictures, it looks like they are okay. So there are other technical ways to show videos, like using multiple cameras, but sharing a YouTube video that you don't have the rights, I strongly recommend not to do it. And when you use the YouTube application, usually I find that you need to warn the people and really explain what they have to do. Now you're going to click on the YouTube application on the side, open the application, and let only me click play, because anyone can play or stop the video once they are in the application.
Interesting.
I got a question about something we talked about last time about the chat box. I'm hoping it's progressing nicely, the recording thereof, saving thereof.
Yes. Didn't you notice? Didn't you notice when you started you had to say that you are aware that it is publicly recording.
Yeah.
So look at the upper right corner, mouse over just between hand raise and the lock. You have export chat history, and click on it and see what happens.
Powerful feature. That's awesome. And I've got to comment too.
That's great.
Yes.
Darius, on how quickly you guys implement suggestions.
Yes.
I don't know how you do it, but it is an absolutely refreshing approach to interfacing with your consumers and customers. Most companies, you could wait several months before they even answer you back, much less begin to implement. You guys are awesome.
I've got one quick question. When
Sure.
you export the chat box, what format is it exported in? PDF, document, what?
It's HTML actually. You can copy paste it in Word. You can. It's an HTML.
The question I had was regarding the room has a unique permanent URL, and I know you can password protect the room, but also I thought, well, if you have a unique URL, can you do a reset on that URL, and that way it kills anybody's previous access? Maybe you want to keep all the settings for that room, and you want to have that URL, you know, if you have like a custom domain that's forwarded to that URL rather than having to change it all the time. Or I don't know how that would work out, but that was just an idea. I wondered if you could reset it.
You could change the redirect for the custom domain, couldn't you?
Right.
To a new room.
Yep.
Yeah. The only way is to use another room, because the link is tied to a particular room. So once it's created, you cannot change it. The only way is to delete the room or to create another one.
Okay.
Yeah, you can delete it and set up another one. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Hmm.
I really like it. I've got some ideas for this, so this is nice.